talk about my favorite anime. So, one of my favorite anime of all time. I'm gonna do a top tens list, and it's just like off the top of my head. So, um, what order should I go in, guys? Okay, I'm just gonna go just off the top. It's just ten, not fully in order, but number one would be a tied spot with One Piece and Hunter x Hunter. Those are two of my favorite anime of all time. I love both of them so much. They mean a lot to me. Hunter x Hunter is one that means a lot to me because it was one of the first anime that I branched off of Dragon Ball Z and fully watched. Now I watched anime when I was a kid. Like I watched the One Piece on 4Kids TV. I watched freaking Digimon on Toon Disney at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I watched Yu-Gi-Oh on freaking on the Fox box. I watched Sonic X on the Fox box. Um, I watched what else? I watched shows that were inspired by anime like Teen Titans. I watched the original Beyblade. I used to watch all the Toonami blocks. Like I used to watch the Big O, the Gundam, Cowboy Bebop. Later on, Samurai Champloo. I used to watch Pokemon constantly. I still watch Pokemon because it's like a drug. I don't think I'm gonna ever stop watching Pokemon. Um, I used to watch. I used to watch an infinite amount of TV. I'm not gonna lie. I used to sit there and watch TV all day. I used to watch the stations that people didn't even like. I remember I used to watch like the Discovery Kids channel. I used to watch Nicktoons Network. I used to watch Teen Nick. I used to watch Toon Disney before it became Disney XD. I used to watch Disney West, Disney East, because my grandma had Direct TV. I used to watch Comcast at my great grandma's house, and I used to watch Dish at my own house. I remember when my mom had the freaking recording box, like that silver recording box, and I used to literally sit there and record Dragon Ball Z Kai from Nicktoons Network. And I remember the reason why I actually had Nicktoons Network is we weren't even supposed to freaking have it. It was only supposed to be like the channels up to like 60 or something. But I remember the cable guy was this Mexican dude, and this when I was like 14. He was like 24, 25. Like the age I am now, he was around my age now. And basically, me and him had like the deepest conversation about Dragon Ball Z, and I still think about it to this day. It makes me happy to think about it. I hope he's doing good, his family is doing good. But basically, me and him had this extremely deep conversation about Dragon Ball Z. And what he did when he left, he said, "Look, bro," he said, "I hooked you up. I gave you Nicktoons Network so you could watch Dragon Ball Z Kai." When I'm telling you, that was like the coolest thing to me, bro. I was like, that was so freaking nice of him to do that. Gave me a whole free channel from just talking to him. Bro had some good energy to him, high vibrational energy. But yeah, I kind of just told that just so you guys can know, like, clearly understand that I'm like really big cartoon dude. But Hunter x Hunter was one of the ones that I branched off and watched. And I stopped being so obsessed with Dragon Ball Z because I was like, from like the age like 7 to like freaking 20, I was like obsessed with Dragon Ball Z. I was obsessed with Dragon Ball Z. I have the Boo DVD, the Boo Saga. I have like the second half of the Boo Saga, and I remember when I didn't have cable, I would watch it like constantly. And it's the part where basically Boo makes the house for him and Mr. Satan and the dog. The dog gets shot, and then Gray Boo is what I call him. Gray Boo came out. It starts from like that point on to the end of the Boo Saga, and I watched it like so many freaking times. Um, and I was like really obsessed with it because Dragon Ball Z has like really good rewatch value, and I honestly think a show is good when you can sit there and just rewatch it constantly, and it doesn't get boring. And Dragon Ball Z is one of those shows that you can just keep rewatching, and it doesn't feel stale and it doesn't feel boring. But I think it's mostly because of the fact that it's so unique and so interesting. Um, but yeah, so Hunter x Hunter is a big one, and I love Hunter x Hunter because you can clearly see the influence from Dragon Ball in Hunter x Hunter. Like Gon catches a giant fish, he lives in the mountains. He's just like Goku when it comes to like his animal instincts. Very good at listening, very good at hunting, very good at smelling. Gon's very good at like smelling the weather and stuff like that. He can tell when like a storm is coming, stuff like that. So you can tell that he has a lot of inspiration from Kid Goku but there's also a lot of inspiration from Yashiro Togashi's, first series, Yu Yu Hakusho, with the characters. And, Yu Yu Hakusho is legendary too. That's one of my top 10. But Hunter x Hunter was just very interesting to me because it felt so different. It was like, I remember watching a top 10 anime fights. I don't even think that video is up anymore. I think they took it down for copyright or something. But basically, the fight with Gon and Hisoka from the 2011 series was in that top 10 list, and so was Obito versus Kakashi. That was number one, which it deserves the number one spot. I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the best fights ever. The music's good, the flashbacks in the middle of the fight is good. They were fighting as little kids, and then they showing them fight as adults is like the coolest thing ever. 10 out of 10 Naruto fight right there. I ain't gonna lie, iconic fight, iconic music, iconic animation. That fight was like top tier. But Hunter x Hunter was good to me because I saw that Hisoka versus Gon fight, and I wanted to know how it got to this point. Why are they fighting? Same thing with One Piece. I remember seeing the Luffy with the log in his hand, standing up to the three admirals, and I was like, I want to see the whole story up to this point. Even though I had watched One Piece as a kid, watched the 4Kids version, and then I watched some of the Funimation version on TV. I remember being like 16 and watching the Luffy versus Usopp fight on TV. It came on, I watched it, and then like literally afterwards I watched like the first episode of Full Metal Alchemist, the original one came on, not Brotherhood, and then I remember Cowboy Bebop coming on after that, and then they had before the One Piece fight, they actually showed the Toei Animation Dragon Ball Z, not Dragon Ball Z Kai, but they showed literally the ending episode of Gohan versus Super Perfect Cell, and him doing the beam struggle with him. It was pretty cool. They showed that episode, and it was on Adult Swim. I was like, that was pretty fire for them to show the old episode. And that was before Dragon Ball Z was on there, before they started showing the uncut version of Dragon Ball Z. But Hunter x Hunter was it was one of my first branch off anime from Dragon Ball Z and being obsessed with that one. Even though I did watch a lot of anime as a kid. And once Dragon Ball Super ended, I wanted another anime to watch. And I saw that fighting compilation, and then I saw on YouTube they had the 1999 version. So I literally sat there and watched the whole 1999 version because it was on YouTube. They had the dub, and then I switched over to the sub because the dub stops like I think right at the York New City arc. It stops, and then it goes up to Greed Island. It's a bunch of OVAs. Like the Greed Island part is OVAs from 2001. And basically, I was just like, yeah, I really love this freaking show. It was freaking amazing. I loved it because I love the adventure aspect. It's almost like One Piece, but like on a smaller scale. Like just him wanting to be a hunter. And then he gets on a freaking boat. And, he gets on a boat and he has to find the hunter exams. And when you get to the hunter exams, it's like there's all these different tests and trials. Like they have the running test. They have like when they get out of the running test, it's like you literally see, the endurance test, and then it's like a mental test and an endurance test, because they never tell you when they're going to stop running, and you have to run fast, so you have to be in like really good shape. And then after that, it's like they get out of it finally, and we see like the monkey is trying to trick them. There's like all these like weird creatures, and then they have the little cookouts. And I'm pretty sure this is where the creator of Toriko got inspiration, but because they had like the cooking hunters would go look for rare food. So I always felt like Toriko is basically like inspired by that. I'm pretty sure it is. It feels like it so much. And after that they have like the little badge fight where they like trying to kill each other to get the badges, and then they have like this like reverse tournament, and then it goes to like the getting Killua back arc, which is one of my favorite parts, is when they go to Killua's estate, and we found out, they're all assassins or whatever, and Gon's trying to get inside of the gate, and they have to work out and get strong to open the doors to be able to go in the gate, and then, I just love the flow of Hunter x Hunter's story. It's really good. And the 1999 version has like this like Zelda fairy tale kind of music going on in the background, and it was created by like a movie studio, and it's just like really pretty. The 2011 version is pretty, but so is the 1999 one. It looks really good for 1999, and it just has like this like really nice kind of like adventure-esque, but also kind of a Dungeons and Dragons kind of vibe to it. I just really like that, bro. That's fun. And then it has a lot of filler in it, but it's like good filler. Like we see Karapika like sitting at the table, and he stabs like a spider with a fork, and then there's like more filler with Killua, and then there's like this filler when they get on the blimp. If you guys have seen it, there's like this filler where it's like this girl tries to kill Killua. It's a lot of little filler in there, but the filler like helps it a lot. And then I remember watching all of it, all of it up to Greed Island, and then I saw the video where it's P2 versus Gon, and I was like, I want to see that arc. I was so hyped to see that arc. And I remember before I even got to the Ant arc, my mind was just like making up a story. Like, so it was like I thought that the ants came from like some kind of like parallel universe or something, and then like Gon went to like a parallel universe to fight them and all this. It was like weird. I had like this weird thing where I was making it deeper than it really was, but it made me want to watch it even more because I felt like Hunter x Hunter would do something like that. Um, but yeah, I ended up watching the 2011 version and watching that all the way up to because they had the dub was like right at the beginning of Greed Island. So I watched like all of the dub to Greed Island, and I switched over to the Japanese version, and then I watched all of the Ant arc in like 3 days. It was so freaking good, bro. Man, I love Hunter x Hunter. Like, I don't care, bro. It's such a freaking good show. One of my like all-time favorites. And then One Piece, I was looking for another adventure-esque show, and I had watched One Piece as a child. I watched the 4Kids version on the Fox box, and I had watched some of the Funimation one, the Toei animation one on Adult Swim sometimes, you know. So, you know, and I remember seeing like just like little clips of it. I remember there was these guys living with me and my mom. It was like my mom's friends or whatever. There was like these brothers that lived with us, and they would turn on Toonami, and I remember seeing One Piece being on and then like watching it or whatever. Like they were really into anime. I used to see them always watching anime and stuff. And, like the middle brother was like super cool because I love Sonic and he loved Sonic. He loved drawing Sonic, and it was pretty cool. But I remember seeing like little clips, and I used to watch episodes of it when I was like really really little because I really liked 4Kids as a kid. Like Sonic X was fire, One Piece was fire, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, fire. Freaking Yu-Gi-Oh is fire. I don't care. All their shows are so good, and when I go back and watch them, they still hold up. They're still good, you guys. Um, but yeah, I remember like watching that, and I really wanted to watch another adventure-esque show like Hunter x Hunter. And One Piece is like an even bigger version of Hunter x Hunter. It's like super deep and complex, and it's like there's so many characters and so many arcs and so much freaking world building going on, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, I love this. As soon as Luffy jumps out of that barrel, I was like 10 out of 10 in the show. They're both tied for my top spot. Dragon Ball Z was my top spot as like a teenager, but One Piece and Hunter x Hunter have like passed it up tremendously. And it's funny because I remember getting mad at One Piece because they kept like Dragon Ball Z would like stop so One Piece could have like a special and stuff like that on the weekends, and it used to annoy me. And then I end up liking One Piece way more than Dragon Ball Super, like way more. Like to me, Dragon Ball Super is like a comfort food. It's like a 5 out of 10. Still a good show, but it's like literally a 5 out of 10. It's a comfort food, and like half the show doesn't make sense, but it's still fun to watch. I like seeing Beerus and Whis. I love both of them. People always say they broke the show because it's like they're always in the background and they're so OP, but I'm like, it doesn't really matter though. Like, who cares, bro? Like, it's fun to watch them talking like live and stuff. Um, those are two I like though. I love One Piece and I love freaking Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter is 10 out of 10. One Piece 10 out of 10. You know, I love pretty much everything in One Piece. I can't really think of a lot of stuff that I don't like. Um, I even grew to like some of the characters that I didn't really like the designs of at first. Like there are people who like complain about designs, and it was like certain characters at first that I didn't really like, and then I started like really liking their designs. But that would be my second right there. Well, not second. They're both tied for first place. Um, I want to keep these videos like around 15 minutes, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you. Take care.